Here's a preview of what you'll hear on this episode of Beyond the Wheel.
When I graduated from college, I worked on Capitol Hill for a year, and one of the things I was taught early on was legislation making is like making sausage, and it just a lot of stuff goes into it.
Now enjoy the show.
You are listening to Beyond the Wheel, a podcast about the people and ideas that drive the RV community forward.
Looking to get out there and stay out there? Battleborn Batteries lithium-ion batteries are here to power your RV, marine, and off-grid adventures. Designed as an easy drop-in replacement for traditional lead-acid batteries, these reliable solutions have 2 to 3 times the power, charge 5 times faster, are a fifth of the weight, and last 10 times longer. Offered in a variety of models in unique sizes and shapes, ranging from 50 amp hour to a robust 270 amp hour, and backed by a 10-year warranty. Battleborn batteries are built to fit your needs and power your experiences. On the road, on the water, and off the grid, reliable power is here. Check them out at battlebornbatteries.com. Hey everybody, a new bill has been passed in South Dakota and has a lot of RVers talking about what this could mean for them and the use of South Dakota as their domicile. The Senate Bill 139 has a lot of people talking, especially in the RV world. This new bill has people thinking it will stop RVers from being able to use South Dakota as their domicile state. There has been a lot of misunderstanding and misinformation surrounding this bill. So to help us understand it all, we invited Bill Linsenmeyer from Your Best Address onto the show. Bill has worked over 14 years in the mail forwarding service and is the owner of the mail forwarding company Your Best Address, located in South Dakota. Bill is going to share some facts about the new SB 139 and what changes to expect from this bill as an RVer. So let's get this episode started.
Hi, Bill. Welcome back to the show. Today we have you on because there's been a little bit of discussion this year about a particular bill that's been signed into law in South Dakota. People thought may affect the RVers that are residents of South Dakota. But before we get into that, why don't you just tell us a little bit about Your Best Address and the services that you guys provide?
Sure. Thanks, Sean. So, Your Best Address, we're based in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. We are a commercial mail receiving agency, so we are affiliated in a way with the U.S. Post Office. The U.S. Post Office considers us a physical address. We're not just a P.O. box or things like that. With the physical address, our clients are able to get mail forwarding. We have traditional mail forwarding where you just ask for your mail to be sent and we package everything up. If you want to get rid of third-class mail, we'll do that for you. Then we ship it off to wherever you're at. We've got clients literally all over the world. We also have an in-house digital mail system, and that allows people to get an image of each piece of mail that comes in for them, and they can then determine what they want shipped to them and what they want discarded, what they want us to hold. And sometimes we'll even open the envelope and scan the contents. You know, if it's a time-sensitive thing with a lawyer or a doctor, things like that, our clients really appreciate that. So we do the mail forwarding. We also do vehicle registration. And again, with our physical address in Sioux Falls, the Minnehaha County Treasurer's Office will allow us to register vehicles to this address. And we've got a guy, Carl, that's all he does is vehicle registration. And it's important for people to understand they do not have to bring their vehicle to South Dakota to register it. They don't have to be here at all. Carl can do everything over the phone and on the internet, and we'll get you set up. And with South Dakota, it's a 4% sales tax, which is not the cheapest in the country, but it's less expensive than a lot of states. And then really the third thing we can assist people with, we don't charge anything for it, is to help them gain residency in South Dakota. And that makes sense for a number of our clients, definitely people that are retired and people with really who we serve, people with a mobile lifestyle, like traveling healthcare workers, pipeline workers, digital nomads, people like that. The residency portion, you need, and I've got it, the information here from the Department of Public Safety, and I can give you the website for that later. But you need a physical address. You need, which is what we provide, and you come and do a one-night stay, and you take the hotel or campground receipt that has your address with us on it to the driver's license station, and depending on the time of day and time of year, 45 minutes later, you walk out, you've got a South Dakota license. You are now a South Dakota resident.
Do you know, Bill, how that works with the real ID process? Is it the same? If
Yes.
people,
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. The IDs, the driver's licenses you get here are considered the real ID.
Okay.
So somebody doesn't necessarily need to be a resident, though, with South Dakota to use your mail forwarding service. They are independent from each other?
They are. They're independent. So the mail forwarding aspect and also the vehicle registration, you don't have to be a South Dakota resident. We can assist you in to sign up for the mail forwarding. You can do it on our website, or some people come into the office to do it, but that's not necessary. Doing it on the website is a quick and easy way to take care of it. It's a really slick system.
And how long have you been involved in the mail forwarding industry?
Sean, I've been involved for 14 years. The first 5 years, I was actually a customer of a mail forwarding company. My wife and I were working overseas, and before we left, I signed up, and all our mail was consolidated and then shipped to us. And that was very, very handy to have. After 5 years, I actually came back to the States and was hired by that mail forwarding company to be the general manager, because I knew from the customer perspective, and I had managed businesses before, it was a good fit. And so I became the general manager of that mail forwarding company, and I did that for 19 months. And then I came over to Your Best Address and worked with the owner at the time. His name was Larry, and he was 75 years old. His wife, Rose, worked with him 5 days a week, and she was 77. Great people. But I told Larry, I said, "You've got to retire, man. You're 75 years old." And he and I talked about it and came to a deal over a period of a few weeks. And Larry and Rose got to retire. And when I purchased the business, we really set my sons helped me a lot in terms of Google AdWords and online marketing and things like that. And we've more than quadrupled the number of clients we had when I bought the business in March of 2017. So it's a great business, family owned, family operated. As I said, my sons are involved. My partner's involved. She does editing of documents and things like that. She, after 33 years of being a communications professor, it's a good asset to have on the staff. But that's where we're at. So,
have all those years been in South Dakota? Those 14 years of you working
yes.
with the data? Oh, okay. So
yes.
then you are very familiar with how South Dakota operates. Then I would imagine when it comes to these things, when it comes to like your domicile and stuff like that. So what is the advantages of South Dakota for somebody to want to become domiciled in South Dakota?
Well, the two big advantages are there's no state personal income tax and there's no business tax. There's also no inheritance tax. South Dakota, I believe, is the second largest trust state in the United States right now as well. So it's just a very pro-economic state, and it's almost always been that way as far as I know. And I remember back in grade school when I grew up in Michigan, learning that South Dakota's legislature only met for 2 months a year. And even in sixth grade, I thought that was a great thing. So when I had the opportunity to move to South Dakota for family reasons, I love it. It's a great state, and our clients, some of them become South Dakota residents, and they enjoy all the benefits of residency. But it allows them to be, in a lot of cases, full-time RVers. That's one of the hidden gems I think about South Dakota.
And then, Bill, it brings us to, the new bill, the SB 139. And there's a lot of misinformation floating around about this bill. This bill has now been passed. It's not just in the working process. It has been passed. What is the bill? Will it affect RVers? Will it affect people that are domiciling in South Dakota? And if so, how will it affect them?
Well, the short answer is that the only change to voting that Senate Bill 139 made was that people could no longer register to vote at the time they got their driver's license. They now have to wait 30 days once they become a resident. So that's really the short answer. I think the bigger answer that was driving this was a concern about voter fraud and wanting to tighten up, the voting rolls. And so I know there was a law passed where the county auditors now have to they get obituary reports, and they go through and they basically call the voting rolls every quarter based on who died. I mean, that's an admirable thing. We want to keep the voting rolls as clean as possible. But 139, the only thing it does is, and it's for everybody that gets a South Dakota driver's license, not just full-time travelers or our client base. It's everybody has to wait 30 days to get registered to vote.
Okay. So if somebody was going through the process, it's still just that one night of overnight stay, they bring the information and they become a resident, but then it's just an additional 30 days before they're allowed to vote.
Right. Then they can, at the 30-day point, then they can complete the paperwork to register to vote.
So they don't have to come back to South Dakota.
Correct. They can do that.
Okay.
By mail.
Okay.
They can do that by mail. It's not that we don't want people here. It's just that they don't.
They don't need to be.
Always have to come here for different things.
And so it doesn't affect the actual becoming a resident requirements at all, really.
Not at all. It doesn't affect the becoming a resident at all.
Okay. I think that's what some of the controversy was when people read the bill and heard about it, is that they read some things, misinterpreted some things, which is easy to do in legislation writing, I guess. They thought they may not be able to become residents now based on this bill.
One of the things I learned from my son, who went to law school and became a lawyer, is when you're reading legislation, it basically goes to the most common understood interpretation of the words. So I think sometimes people spin it up. They look deeper into it. They overthink it, and that's with the case with Senate Bill 139. It's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, and I know some people take advantage of this for maybe clicks and views and things like that. Because when I was trying to find information on this SB 139, the top videos are, oh, this is harmful to RVers, and we got the information, we got the scoop, or stuff like that. So I think people kind of take this information and then twist it to their own benefit sometimes.
Yeah, no, I've seen a lot of that, and so I really appreciate Kenny, you and Sean having me on for a discussion about this, because there just is a lot of misinformation out there.
Have you received a lot of calls about this when people are interested in finding a mail forwarding service? Have you received a lot of questions?
We get some questions about it. Not everyone that wants to sign up has a question about it. One of the things we did once it became law in earlier this year was we did a mass email to all our clients and explained where it's at, because what we have found is a lot of our business comes from client referrals. We've got some of the best clients in the world. They just are really helpful and really great about singing our praises. And so I made sure to get out in front of that. We've got a blog that comes out once a week that I try to just keep things up to date. So, as things happen, people don't need to worry. Or, if they do have a question, they can always call the office.
And because I don't know a whole lot about how bills and things like that work, now that this is passed and it's kind of set in there, can it be changed? Can people go back? But in order to make changes to it, I would imagine it goes through a whole new process all over again.
Right. It'll have to be, the legislation will have to be written that will, edit when you see it'll be amended. When you see the laws, a lot of it sometimes they'll have words lined out because it gets amended during the process. And when I graduated from college, I worked on Capitol Hill for a year. And one of the things I was taught early on was legislation making is like making sausage. And it just, a lot of stuff goes into it. So I think what you're going to see in this next session in January and February is a bit of a clarification. So it's spelled out. So it's not open to too much interpretation one way or the other. I think that's what we're going to see at this next session.
Yeah, everything that you've told us so far, none of it sounds bad to me. I mean, the fact that you have to wait 30 days to vote, if they're just trying to secure and make sure that there's no voter fraud, I think that's a good thing.
Right. Back in the session in January, February this year, I actually testified against a couple of bills that weren't really thought through. And actually, both bills that I testified against were voted down unanimously by the committees. But I understand that the push behind it is again this idea of voter fraud, and it's admirable to make sure that the rolls are clean and that people are voting the way they're supposed to vote. If you took all of our clients at your best address that are registered to vote, they would equal less than 2% of all the registered voters in Minnehaha County. So it's not a huge block of voters either. So some people were concerned that our clients, if they voted one way or the other altogether, they could sway something. And I explained that we have a mix of clients. We have people from all political perspectives here. But I think the one thing that is pretty consistent with people here is our clients is that they're really salt of the earth. They're great people and they want to see things done properly. So they oftentimes appreciate these kinds of changes in the law, but as long as it's explained properly.
Yeah, I think one of the things that maybe people that are considering becoming full-time RVers next year need to consider, if South Dakota is one of the places where they're considering residency, is to know when that voter registration period is before the big election in November, and make sure they back 30 days up from that.
Right. That's information that we'll make sure is clear on the website, and again with the blog and things like that. Yeah, we're looking forward to the election next fall. It's a lot of work for the mailroom, getting all those absentee ballots, properly sorted and sent out on time. But yeah, we're looking forward to that.
Oh, that's right, because they would all come through you.
Yep, they all come through us.
You probably get other states' absentee ballots too for people that have mail forwarding but are not residents.
Right. Yeah, that happens. That happens as well. What we try to do is the right mail gets sent on the right date to the right people at the right address, and it's just as straightforward as that. So we try to get the mail out. And somebody calls, like for instance, we're closed Thursday and Friday this week for Thanksgiving. So we've posted on Facebook and Instagram to please get your mail requests in by Tuesday. So Wednesday, we're going to be shipping out 5 days worth of mail. It's going to be a real marathon session, but we want to get it out so those people that would normally get mail sent out on the date on Saturday or the date on Sunday aren't waiting till Monday for the mail to go out. So, but that's, one of the things that I've gotten involved with in the last couple of years is the Postal Customer Council here in Sioux Falls. And every city, I believe, with our population of 200,000 or greater has a PCC. This year, I'm the co-chair along with the postmaster in Sioux Falls, Craig Hansen. And I will tell you, it's nice to have friends in high places when you have a mail forwarding company and, things happen and you need to get somebody's attention. Craig and his team have been really, really helpful.
On these councils, is it open to the public to come in? Oh,
yep,
okay.
Yep. In fact, one of the things that we're trying to do is recruit more businesses in Sioux Falls that use a lot of the postal services. So it's not really for private individuals, but more for businesses and then the post office. And so there's a lot of communication, there's a lot of training, there's online seminars and things like that we do, plus a golf tournament every July. So.
Can you just remind our listeners of the web address for Your Best Address?
Yes, it's very straightforward. It's yourbestaddress.com. And our phone number is 605-334-5313. And My email address is simple. It's bill@yourbestaddress.com. If people have questions, I'd be happy to help them out.
The phone number, Bill, are you guys there Monday through Friday, or is it Monday through Saturday?
We're here Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, but my phone, as the owner, my phone rings through, my desk phone rings through to me when I'm not here at the office as well. And we try to respond. We get what we call jot forms set up on our website. So if people have questions, what about this or what about that, I can reach out. I very, very commonly reach out on the weekends just to answer people's questions. I'm often in the office over the weekend as well. I've got a home office as well. But I had a conversation Saturday with somebody who had a number of questions about vehicle registration, and he was very happy to hear that he didn't have to drive all the way from Illinois to South Dakota to register his VW camper van. As a small family-owned business, I feel we have to be available to our customers when they need us. So I really try to reach out when I can.
I guess the big takeaway from our conversation is that South Dakota is still an RV-friendly state.
Yes, it's interesting. Our governor Nome, Kristi Nome, has had a campaign to try to draw people into South Dakota for work, and it's the same thing with the RVers. We're try to be very friendly to people that want to take advantage of what South Dakota has to offer, and we're here to facilitate that every step of the way if we can.
Well, Bill, we want to thank you for your time and coming on the show and kind of explaining this to us and putting our fears to rest. But is there anything that maybe we should have asked you or that maybe we missed that you want to add?
No, I can't think of anything. I think we covered a lot of ground, and I really appreciate your time, Kenny and Sean. It's always great to see you guys, and I appreciate what you do for us.
We want to thank Bill for coming on the show and clearing up some of the misconceptions floating around the RV world regarding South Dakota Bill 139. Luckily, it will not affect full-time travelers that choose South Dakota as their domicile. It adds one extra hoop for voting, but not really much of an inconvenience for those living on the road. If you are looking for a good mail service while you are traveling, check out Your Best Address. We have a link to the site in the show notes. As always, thanks to our sponsors. Battleborn Batteries have supported the show since the beginning, and we are thankful they have helped us improve the show. Before you go, please leave a rating or review for the podcast. It really helps the show reach more listeners and move up the charts. Thanks, everyone, and safe travels.
Looking to get out there and stay out there? Battleborn Batteries lithium-ion batteries are here to power your RV, marine, and off-grid adventures. Designed as an easy drop-in replacement for traditional lead-acid batteries, these reliable solutions have 2 to 3 times the power, charge 5 times faster, are a fifth of the weight, and last 10 times longer. Offered in a variety of models in unique sizes and shapes, ranging from 50 amp hour to a robust 270 amp hour, and backed by a 10-year warranty. Battleborn batteries are built to fit your needs and power your experiences. On the road, on the water, and off the grid, reliable power is here. Check them out at battlebornbatteries.com. With the complexity of all the systems in an RV, I always say it's not if something's going to break, but a matter of when is something going to break. That is why I think an extended warranty for RVs is so important. We first interviewed Wholesale Warranties back in 2019 and immediately became impressed with how their policies worked, such as you can take your RV to any licensed repair shop, including mobile repairs. They also have personalized service plans, making sure you are getting the right policy for your needs. And if you think your RV is too old for a policy, you might be surprised to hear that RVs up to 20 years old can still be approved for a policy. That is more age lenient than most RV parks I've stayed at. Go to wholesalewarranties.com/beyond the wheel or click the link down below in our show notes to get your free quote today.